All right, today I'm going to have a short review and then a reverse stamping tutorial. So I just received these new Beautybigbang plates, and as you guys have seen before, I really like the Beautybigbang plates. They come up with some original designs that aren't like really terribly off the wall or unique or anything, but they are pretty unique and not like everybody else. I got this one, 041, which has a bunch of different florals. This one, which I thought had a bunch of designs that could look like they would be hand-drawn on a portion of the nail. And then, and that's 069. And then this is the one that I'm actually going to use today, which is sort of a marble plate. It mimics some of the water marble designs that you can do. This one in particular is the one that I'm going to use today, and you'll see more about that. But I quite like these. I like this one and this one a lot. So you'll be seeing me use that plate more in the future. And then this one is 056, and it's the only one that I've tried so far. And I used these two images here. I'm not sure that they were actually designed to use for layering, but that's what I did for this mani here. Is I stamped this one in a pale yellow, and then this one in the blue over a green base. And I quite like the combo. And usually I have trouble stamping these straight lines to look straight on my very curvy nails, if you can see the curvature there at the ends. But for some reason I did a pretty good job with these, stamping them straight on my nails. So I was very pleased with this plate. Okay, so I've taken the blue film off this plate, and again, I'm going to do a very easy reverse stamping tutorial with that image there. I am using my favorite Corazon Kaleidoscope black stamping polish. And I'm going to be using a bunch of different clear stampers for this because I'd like to color right on this, but the one I'm showing you here is the Creative Shop Holo Glassy. I'm using the Creative Shop flexible scraper. So for this image, because it's got a lot of thicker lines, I am going to make sure that the polish is well in the lines. May not need it, but for some of these images, more polish is better. Going to scrape lightly once, then pick up with the Creative Shop stamper. Okay. And you can see that for this image here, there are thicker and thinner lines. So what I'm going to do is color within those thicker lines. Okay. And I'll be right back for that. Okay, so the next step is to color these in. I have my 5 clear stampers. I usually do one hand at a time. Sometimes I only do my left hand and never get around to doing my right hand, so I do 5 at a time. If I wanted to do all 10, I could, but it's sort of a pain. So what I would generally do is whatever color I decide to color with first, I will then go and take that color and use it on all 5. So that gives it a chance to dry before I go to the next color, so that I'm not smearing the colors as I'm going. So the colors that I've decided to use today are ILNP, Atomic Sherbet, Funshine Smoothie, and High Tide. And as you can see, I'm definitely more in a spring mood. I'm tired of darker, vampier colors, and I'm really tired of pink and red from Valentine's Day. So the reason why I like keeping it on the stamper and then coloring it in is that you can see what you're doing because it's clear, and then you can flip it around and then check to see what it looks like, what it will look like on the nail, and see if you've missed any spots. So this is a very easy design to color in because, as I said, I'm going to color in the dark lines. And so I can use the brush directly. And the key to coloring in is that you want to just sort of pat the colors on. If you brush the color on, you might smear the image, and you really obviously don't want to do that. So again, I would normally go and use that orange on all the colors and then come back, but I'm going to show you just one here. You can use a tool, but for a bigger image like this, I've just decided not to and just use the brush. Now, some people prefer to put a clear coat on to protect the image before you color, and you can certainly do that if that's your preference, but for me it adds another layer and sometimes it gets too thick for my taste, so I don't generally do that. So again, I'm just flipping it around and make sure I'm within the lines. And as you can see, I also like to be able to turn the stamper so that I can get a good angle on the coloring portion. And the nice thing about reverse stamping is that once you have the image stamped, you can use whatever polishes you want and any kind of finish. For LED lighting, where you color on the front of the image as opposed to the back, you have to use jelly-like colors that aren't going to obscure the stamping. So you're more limited in terms of what kinds of polishes that you can use. So I don't need to color this whole thing because my nail isn't this long. The Beautybigbang plates are quite long, and even for my thumbnail, as you can see here, it's way longer than it needs to be, but sometimes I get carried away with coloring. So I'm pretty happy with that, and so I will let that dry and then come back and then show you the application portion. All right, so I've got all 5 stampers colored in, and now I've let them dry for quite a bit, maybe 20-30 minutes, and then so you can tell that they're dry because they should feel dry to the touch. There should be no stickiness involved, okay? And so what I've done in the meanwhile is I have prepped my nails. I have 2 coats of Color Club Just My Luck on, and it's not the pure silver of Harp on It. It has sort of a little bit of a golden sheen, which I thought would look pretty under the yellow. You can use any light color base that you want. You could use silver, you could use white, you could use the lightest color of this. The yellow I think would work fine, but I thought the yellow would change the blue and the orange colors a little bit, so that's why I went with this color, just because this is not completely opaque. The colors, the polishes that I used, they're not completely opaque, so I thought my bare nail would show through and look a little funny. So so this is completely dry, and to get it to stick to your nails, you now need your nails to be sticky and tacky in some form or fashion. So you can do what I've done here, which is I just put the last coat, the second coat of this on right before I started filming. So it's only been a couple of minutes, and so it should still be tacky, but dry enough to do this. Or you can do something like let that completely dry and then put a coat of Orly Bonder on just before you're about to do this. And if some of my nails start to get too dry before I can put these on, then that's what I would do. But because this is completely dry, the decal, I should be able to just stick it on like so, because I've only been letting it dry, I said, for about 20-30 minutes, so the whole thing is still pretty pliable, right? So it conforms to the nail really well. Okay, and so before the rest of these nails dry, I'm going to apply the rest of these really quickly and then show you the rest of that. Okay. And just to make it a little bit different, I'm turning it around. And I can tell my nails are starting to get a little too dry because they're not sticking as well. And hopefully I can finish this last one off before they're too dry. I'm just trying to get all three colors in there. Okay. Okay, so now they're all on, and it actually helps to let them stick a little bit. And so then I take this tool from Lantern and Wren, also for review, and one side is what I call the decal cutting tool, and on the other side is a little detail brush, which I actually use quite a bit. Okay, and then I use a glass file as well, and you can use any type of file, I just prefer those. Okay, so what I do is I just go in and I cut off the excess. Okay. I just push down and pull away. Okay. And you should just be able to remove the excess. All right, so for the free edge, which is the toughest part for me, you don't have much of a free edge, it gets easier, I think. You can do one of two things. You can sort of use this tool to go underneath the nail and just sort of scrape away the excess. Okay, or the other thing you can do is gently use a file to scrape away and separate that excess, and same thing, pull it away. Now if you'll notice, this one looks matte, and this the stamper, which is the original clear jelly stamper Big Bling that has become frosted from using it for pigment stamping, it actually seems to absorb the shininess of polishes. I think you can see the difference there, and makes it matte when I put it on. Now, if you put a clear top coat or any clear on it, it goes right back to being shiny, so it doesn't affect it. But I like using this for one of the reverse stamping because then I have an idea of what it will look like matte, which for a lot of shimmers looks cool, I think. So it gives me an idea of what that will look like. So I just really like that. Anyway, I hope that was useful, and I'm gonna cut this off because I hate it when my videos get too long. Thanks for watching.